G'day, Donnie here from Australia. I haven't been on making any videos for a while, but I think I want to carry on with schizophrenia and coping with schizophrenia without any medication or counselling or psychiatric intervention, whatever you want to call it. I have a mental illness, schizophrenia, had it since been diagnosed in 1997, and I wasn't happy with NDIS. I was working for a mob for a while, Rana, and they were all right, but in the end when the NDIS came out, people there told me to kind of exaggerate what my worst case of what I would need if I was having a mental breakdown or anything. I said to them I didn't intend to have a breakdown and that I didn't really need any help. I said you might as well, it's there for you as a disabled person to make claims for help. So I thought I'll go along with it, and the closer I got to the interview with the third party, like the independent from the government people, as into what my needs would be for coping with my disability in a worst case scenario. And at the time a lot was going through my head about living in government accommodation, and the support that the NDIS could offer was not really going to help me to cope with the pressures and with the living conditions, or the people that you live near in a government housing complex. There's 96 units here, and I think that I know a few of the neighbours, and I prefer not to get involved in the people that seems to be social are the ones that like they smoke and stuff like that. So I don't smoke, and it's difficult as a reformed smoker in this environment to sort of socialise with people on a level that complements the decisions that you've made in your life, or with the various decisions that we make to get ourselves, to get our life back. And I can tell you that it went around 1997 when I was diagnosed. I was going through legal problems, and the psychiatrist, the lawyer that I was dealing with, referred me to a psychiatrist to get a psychiatric report, and they discovered that I had dead spots in my brain where I'd had mini strokes, and they said that it was most likely from barbiturate abuse. And I used to abuse Seropax when I was a kid at school, and so I had gone right through my teenage years, through my 20s, right up till I was 1997. I think I was about 27 before I got diagnosed, and they realised that I had brain damage, and that it had affected my life subsequently. So yeah, the NDIS is not really equipped to cope with us as mildly disabled people. So the strokes I had, my mini strokes, when I get into certain situations where I had to try and explain something or something like that, I seem to stutter and I get stuck for words and don't know what to say in various social situations, and so that's my disability that way, and it's been classed as retarded by Orana, because Orana deals with retarded people, and I don't mind being a retard, even though we used to stir people up when I was young about being retards, but all the while I was a retard myself. So. How's the irony? Yeah, normal. I'll be interested to see what the NDIS, if they're going to be not going to be helping mildly disabled people with like intellectual disabilities such as myself. What kind of people it is that they think is going to be able to help and support us. The majority of people like myself all smoke and all have found a way to make ends meet without having to deal with work or something like that. And that's pretty much what I get from around where I live. But not having those pressures, those financial pressures, puts me on a different list. And the smokers is really pressured. Some people that they're only smoking like tobacco, and it's costing them like nearly $200 a fortnight for tobacco. And it's like, wow, how do you afford to smoke? When you on your pension, you'll be getting, be close to $1,000, but then you take your rent out or whatever, you probably take about $600-700, maybe less, after you pay your rent, and then you've got your bills on top of that. So you probably got about it's probably half of any money that you've got after you pay for like your electricity, your gas, rent, and that's without putting any money away. We all need that. I think that respite is going to be important for places like this. I found that it's important to be able to get away from the people that live here. That sometimes it becomes a very territorial place, and people seem to like to intimidate people who won't do what they want them to do. It's a normal part of life, I guess, but shouldn't have to have people bullying other people and intimidating them in order to get them to do stuff for them. So I reckon respite's a good thing. And also, there's people here that won't have anything to do with the land like the management. They won't have anything to do with housing. It's like they're all a pack of dogs, and the only time they want to see them is if they've given them something or something. It's a difficult situation, I think, when people just want cheap accommodation so they can have more recreation, and to have a recreational, it's good to have some recreational time, but it's not good to base your life on recreation. I mean, we would like to be creative in our attempts to have a good life, but yeah, there's a lot of people who can do that, and I think that their talents allow for them to have this kind of lifestyle, and I think that there's a lot of us who are kind of like wannabes, like myself, putting on videos on YouTube, other people, in their minds they're not actually the disabled person who's on the bones of their ass. In their minds they're some kind of somebody else, which is divergences. There's so much we see on TV all the time. That's not reality, and we've got all these commercials and they're promoting all this money. People have got to have money to keep us all this stuff rolling, and it seems to be an ongoing, it's never-ending circle of people who have got a lot of choices because of money. And although that is good to have a lot of choices, it can be a bit daunting for people who don't have a lot of choices, because they can't really work. My difficulty in employment, and I think that everybody who's got schizophrenia would be the same, is that when you're working, it's good. You get a new job, you're learning the new job, the new people, and everything's all going well. And there's in your mind, it's not for me, it's not too much stress. But as soon as you start getting into and usually because I've got an intellectual disability, they usually give you easy jobs to do, and you're not, after a while, when you get into the process of doing it and you're used to it, the mind starts to do the self-talk, and it becomes more and more stressful as it goes. It's like, oh, you're all right in the beginning, but after a while it's like it gets boring, and your brain invents something to make it interesting. And we're often watching dramas and actions and all that on TV, so I guess the brain gets the idea that that's what life is. But schizophrenia it's a good thing to be able to stand up to it and make sure that it's something that you can deal with in a way that suits you. You shouldn't have to be medicated and be loaded up with medication unless you've got psychosis. And some of the things that led to psychosis with me was using drugs, illegal drugs, and smoking, and I think it was because of smoking. Sometimes I used to find myself picking up cigarette butts and like trying to blunt smokes here and there, and trying to steal things, like pilfering or trying to sell my stuff or to get smokes. And at the peak of that, when I was like fully stressed from all that, I had a TV. I used to pawn my TV at the pawn shop on off weeks, get paid fortnightly, a week, and then on off week I'd take the TV in, and I would pawn that. But it was the depression, I think, of being in that rut, being in those ruts where you're stuck. There's nothing else. You have to pick up some cigarette butts and smoke some butts, or you have to blood some smokes from somebody, or you have to do something crazy to get some money, to get some cigarettes or some drugs, whatever. And it was those times that I found that I reached peaks where I would need, where I would have psychosis, and usually involved assaulting police, being abusive to people, and accusing them for no reasons of paranoid schizophrenia, and they would not know what I was talking about. But on the other side of that, it was like I sometimes would just go up to people and just start talking to them, and they kind of like they're a bit weirded out because it's just some strange dude just come up to them and just started talking to them, and I'll be really like trying to be social, but it's kind of difficult to explain how it is schizophrenia affects you when people ask you what it says to you. What does schizophrenia say to you? Does it tell you to do things? What kind of ideas does it give you? And in the early times when I first had it, when it first developed, and I was like a full-on drug addict, and I would be homeless at times, and doing a bit of rehab as well. It was generally the schizophrenia was something I wanted to escape in my mind, and I found I could escape into drugs, and it was sort of shutting up. But as it went on, and I started to get off the drugs, it started to talk to me about other things. My self-talk changed, and I was asked, are the voices inside your head or outside your head? And I have to, as real as it can seem, that they are actual people talking to you telepathically or something. The reality is that it's my brain inventing something. Whether it is telepathy or not, it doesn't really matter, because sometimes you can pick up on people's body language, what they're saying. It's something that it goes up for individual preference or individual terminology of how they would put it. But it's pretty hard to put it into general terms so that everybody can agree on it. Because in a grow group or some kind of other group where people talk about their illness or their schizophrenia, I found that people had gone through some kind of trauma, and for them it was fairly fresh. But for me, it's sort of like I didn't get diagnosed till I was 27, and although I was referred to grow groups to meet people when I was about 16 or 17, I was been homeless, and somebody told me to go to some grow group. I went to a grow group in Woodville, and it didn't really do anything for me, because at that stage I was sort of like going there. I was trying to meet chicks there. I was 16 or 17. I was trying to meet chicks there. I was trying to find a place to live. I was trying to get something out of it. I wasn't really going there because I had a mental illness. I don't think I wasn't really diagnosed with one. But I forget who it was, but somebody referred me there. So when it comes to the trauma being like I was told I was lying and it didn't happen, and so that was happening when I was about 6 or 7, I think. I don't know how old I was, and I grew up through all these years of all this stuff and abusing my body and everything else, and nobody really could really see that. I think they could see that there was a problem, but nobody in the 80s or even the 70s and the 80s, people didn't really do anything about it. It's like, oh, he's a problem child, forget it, get rid of him, fuck him off, get him out of the house, don't want him living there, don't let him come back, he'll find his way, and when he's sorted it all out, he'll be all right. But yeah, I never really got it sorted until I started going to, I had a religious experience. But that's another story. What I wanted to just talk about was dealing with schizophrenia and how that. But when you're asked about what it says to you, and how to put that in terms what everybody can agree on. It's difficult to put it in medical terms as well as terms that people can accept in a general way. I don't like to accept that I have a mental disability when it seems like to me that people are so stupid. The whole of humanity that's all messed up. It's not like this. So that people with schizophrenia often have self-grandiosity, or they elevate themselves above other people and put other people down because they're the only ones who get it. And I can relate to that. And if it didn't reach me on such a functional level, then I will probably have to disagree with it, and it does cause difficulty in your dealings with other people. It's hard to say why. I mean, each individual people takes it their own way, but it seems like a lot of people sort of want to go along with the world and what it's doing. But we all know it needs a fucking reset. If you ask me, there's a whole lot that needs to be done, but it's not going to happen overnight, and we have to trust in the next generation to do their bit, and the next generation to do their bit, and hopefully it's not too late and it all gets through to a point where it's right. And having schizophrenia and this self-grandiosity thing, it's sort of it frustrates that reality because we think that it can be so. It looks so simple. It looks so simple, and it can be done so easily. If only certain steps were taken, but there's a hell of a lot of people to deal with, and it's not just people with schizophrenia that needs to have a say in what happens in the world or anywhere else. It's just the way it is. So having accepted that we can share what we have on our minds, and we can let it out, what it is we think that's wrong with the world, and what we think that's wrong with people and the places where we live. And I think that the major difficulty for people with an intellectual disability, mild intellectual disabilities, who are living independently, is drugs. It's very simple that a lot of people try to cope with their social problem by using recreational drugs to sort of bring a common ground and a community spirit, it's not really a bad thing until people start to become territorial, and they don't like the fact that they have to deal with other people who live in the same area, who don't do the same things. The more that you try, the more I might try to explain it, living it is always going to be different, and it's a major milestone in my dealing with schizophrenia to be without cigarettes and without other drugs. It's really powerful. Even when I drink, if I drink too much or too often, I should say, I drink too often, and if I drink too much, like if I get drunk once in a while, it doesn't seem to be a problem. But if I drink too often, it seems to be like it doesn't help. And coming to summer here in Australia, most of us all seem to go to the pub and have gone to pokies or doing the races or something like that at the pub. Well, that's what I do anyway. And you might meet up with other people there, and you sort of get into a habit. If you get into a habit of going to the casino or to the races, to the sports bar, then you start to drink more regularly, and the alcohol affects your mood because your liver is dealing with the alcohol, and it sort of puts you down on a depression mode. And alcohol is a depressant for that reason, but it puts you on that level because your liver creates these enzymes, or that creates something that goes into your bloodstream that sort of brings your mood down. And in the beginning, when you're starting to get drunk, it puts you up, but then it comes down, and it affects your psyche too, like the way you think, your mind. And I think it's pretty much the same with like marijuana. People say, oh yeah, smoke weed, it helps me, but it's a hallucinogen. Schizophrenia and other drugs that affect your psychoactive mind, or other psychoactive drugs, the regular use of them is not going to be a good thing. It's going to hinder. It's going to interact with the schizophrenia, of course, a problem it has done for me in the past. As I said about with the psychosis, that's probably more of an addiction thing. But a lot of people seems to want to be able to say about weed. They'll say, I smoke it because I've got pain, and it helps my pain, it helps my depression, helps my anxiety, helps all these problems. But when I smoke weed, it gives me anxiety. I get paranoid. It has the opposite reaction. It does all the opposite things for me than what it does for some other people who use it. But I've been smoking. I was smoking weed until I gave up in 2002. But I was smoking 2005. But I was smoking weed like every day, all day. I smoked like that sometimes, and I used to smoke weed whenever I could, and it didn't help me with anxiety or anything like that, other than just being intoxicated. It didn't do me any good. But that's a personal choice that I've made. I sort of found it was okay while I was taking psychiatric medication. When I was smoking weed with psychiatric medication, I sort of really went into zoned out. I was just because psychiatric medications debilitate your brain. It stops it from working to an extent, and that's so that you don't have an initial you don't have outbursts. So it gives you, if something's manipulating you, like your schizophrenia, you're hearing voices, and it can be like it's manipulating you, or it can be other people manipulating you. If you want to think about it that way, and then you have an outburst and you just like snap them out. It's like the straw that comes back, so to speak. But when you don't use any of the, I've noticed that since I haven't been using any drugs, I don't really have any snaps like that. Some people have tried tried to manipulate me and stuff like that, unsuccessfully, I'm sure. But it's also with the schizophrenia. So some people are yelling in the street. There's some people I know who's not doesn't appear to take any drugs, yet they're still yelling and carrying on at people that's not there, and they're often delusional about what it is that is causing the schizophrenia too. But the thing is, being able to talk to somebody and hear where they're at with the schizophrenia and what's caused it, or what is causing it, it's a difficult one. You know, talking to people about it is it's just a matter of letting people have an opinion, because that's what it is. That's, in their opinion, that's what's causing it. But I could tell some stories about when I first heard voices and when people weren't actually there, and it was when I was being told to say stuff for selling my soul. I was asked if I believed in magic. It was this sort of like a gold coin or a brass coin appeared in his hand when I said that I did. And he said, "Do you believe this is your soul?" And he had a picture of, I think it was a picture of me, and this brass coin or whatever went into the picture, and I seen it like go out of his hand into the picture, and then he said to me, "Do you trust me?" This is on a different day. I went home, I had something to eat, and I went to sleep. I went to school the next day and went back into the drama room. It was all dark, music and drama room, and it said to me, "Do you trust me?" And it went back into his hand. He told me to repeat after him, so I repeated after him what he wanted me to say. And I picked up on my name, my name backwards, and this little gold thing in his hand, or like a sun or a brass coin or whatever, turned black, flying into my chest, and then I heard this voice, and it was from after that something really weird stuff started happening, and these kids apparently had put a curse on me, and that was supposed to kill me or something, if they thought, but it was from one of Crowley's books, and the thing they thought it was about getting the person to kill themselves, but it must have been some kind of a ritual where I was going to be killed, and something else is coming through in my memory about when I was a little kid. They killed a chicken in front of me, and it was all blood all over this white chicken. It was supposed to traumatise me. Not a chicken, a rabbit. And he says to me that I had killed the chicken, killed the rabbit, and I was like, you? No, he killed it. I said, "What did you kill that rabbit for?" And the baby rabbit, because he had a little rabbit, wanted to cuddle him, wouldn't let me cuddle him, and he said, "Because you killed its mother." And it's like, I think that very precept for him having said he was me was supposed to be a part of this black magic ritual that there were other kids who was doing it to me. They had no idea what I was doing. But this magic book from Crowley, people who switched on to satanic rituals, and what Crowley's really saying through the symbolic influence that comes when you begin to study Satanism, would be clued up as into what the guys who was getting me to sell my soul was actually supposed to have done. I said, yeah, it was all a bit of a balls up as far as satanic rituals go, I'm sure, but maybe somebody's taken advantage of it. I'm not so sure. We'll continue to have these insights into religions and social science and different things. But it has led me to, to a self-grandiose kind of a mentality at times. It was very daunted with it all because it all seems so fucking stupid. But if it was all so smart, then it will be obvious there will be no people like me in the world. So yeah, I'm pretty happy to be here and have the opportunity to put all this out there for other people who might want to catch schizophrenia. It could be contagious, you might find yourself hearing voices, you never know. But that's all I'm going to say for today, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity to be able to do so, and I will sure catch up with you another time soon. Goodbye.